Let's continue from where we left off in the previous video, where we had a look at steps 11 to 20. So in this one, we will be looking at steps 21 to 30. All right, so as a reminder, this is what we are building. Okay, so this is how our final page is going to look like. So give your h1 element a class attribute set to bold. This will make the text bold again. All right, so now we have, in the previous video, we added this class of bold to the p element. So now this one right here is bold. And that's because in our CSS, we have this style here. Okay, so this bold, which comes with the font weight. So any element that we add a class of bold to will automatically pick up this style. So for example, our h1 is not bolding yet, so we can say class and we say bold. And once we do that, as you can see, this one right here becomes bolding. Okay. All right, horizontal spacing between equally important elements can increase the readability of your text. Okay, so wrap the 2/3 cap 55 grams in a span element. Okay, so this right here, want to wrap it in a span element. So a span element is just like an element that we use to wrap, certain portions of our page. That way we can style them separately if we want. So I've added span to this right here. The next thing we want to do is to add horizontal spacing using flex. So in the P selector, which we have right here, we want to add a display property set to flex. So the way we do that is to say display, and we'll say flex box. Sorry, flex. And we'll say justify content. And let's set to space between. Okay, so now we've been able to separate the 7 size from this one right here. And the reason why we've been able to do that is because we have the 2/3 cap. Let me show you. We have this one right here wrapped in this span here. Okay, so now we have this as the parent of this one right here. Okay, so the way flexbox works is that the parent container in this case will be the p tag, and then this right here will be the children. So we can have this, and this is separated from it. Okay, so when we say space between, the space is given between this and this. Okay, that's why in our preview we can see that there is space between 7 size right here and this one right here. All right, I hope that makes sense. Okay, now we want to wrap everything within the dot label element in a new header element. Okay, so where is the so this is the label element. So want to wrap everything in here. So these ones, everything in here, want to wrap it in a new header element. So we'll say header. Okay, and then I'll add the closing header element or closing header tag. Okay. Step 25. Now update your H1 selector to be header space h1 to specifically target your h1 element within your new header. Okay, so what this right here, what this means is that we want to select the h1 inside of the header. Okay, so we say header, we bring our space and then the name of the element, in this case h1. So what this tells the browser is that we tell the browser, hey, so go into the header element, and once you are in the header element, for every h1 that is inside the header element, apply these styles that we've defined here. So that's what this means. All right, create a new div element below your header element. Give it a class attribute set to divider large. Okay, so once again, this is our header element we have here. So below it, we want to create a div element, and this div will have a class. The value of the class will be divider with a space and then large. Okay, so what this means is that we already have the divider class here, and as you can see, the line is here. It's very small. If you look closely, you will see the line, which is the same thing as this. Okay, but the difference is that we've added an extra class to it. This extra class is large, so we can target this div separately and add some more styles to it using the second or additional class that we've added. Now we want to create a large selector. Okay, so we'll do that by saying .large, and the first thing we want to do is give it a height property of 10 pixels, and then we also want to create another selector which will have so large, bring our comma, so medium, and we want to set the background color property to black. Okay, so now as you can see, what is happening is that our large class, which is this div here, has been given a height of 10 pixels. Okay, so as you can see, it's slightly taller than this divider here. Okay, all right, and it has a background color of black. But then we also have this medium class, which we haven't defined in our HTML yet, so we'll do that. You may notice there's still a small border at the bottom of your large element. Okay, it's there. If you look closely, you see it's this gray border there. Okay, so the way we can reset that or take it away is to give our large and medium selector a border property of 0, like so. All right. Note, the medium class will be utilized later for thinner bars of the nutrition label. Okay, so let's take note. Next up, step 29, where we are expected to create a new div below the large element. So we'll say div, and we want to give it a class. The class we want to give it is with the value calories info. All right, so within the calories info element, which we have right here, we want to create a div element. So let's create that first, div element, and we want to give it a class attribute of left container. Within this newly created div element, which we have right here, want to create, let's do it, h2 and want to give it an amount with the text amount per 7, and want to give the h2 element a class attribute of class. So now watch this. Because inside our CSS we already have this bold defined here, right? So in our HTML we can just add bold to this h2 and see what happens. You see, it automatically adds bold to it. All right, so we want to add an extra class, which is small text. Okay, so that will be it for this one. We'll continue in the next one. So for the next one, we'll be looking at steps 31 to step 40. Okay.